What's up, guys? Welcome back. We're continuing work on the 318 Ti today, and unfortunately the time has come to start swapping over parts from the 318 IS. It honestly feels kind of bad starting to take this car apart, but it had to happen, and in order to get the Ti to a point where it's going to be driftable at Spirit Peaks, it was going to have to happen eventually. I figured the best place to start swapping over parts from the 318 IS is going to be with the coilovers. I've already done one install video on coilovers on the E36 chassis, but with the 318 Ti, there's a bit of a difference on the rear end, so that's going to kind of be the main focus of this video today. The main thing I really want to test out and try and figure out today is whether or not I'll be able to use the rear coilovers on the 318 IS on the 318 Ti, because as I said in the last video, the 318 Ti has a bit of a different suspension compared to the regular E36 because it has an E30 rear suspension. From everything that I've read online, when it comes to the E30 rear suspension and the shocks, everything seems to bolt up about the same, but the only difference is the shock length. The rear shock and spring setup on the 318 Ti here is pretty similar actually to that of the E36. It obviously has the top mount for this shock, and it mounts right back down here, and then you have the spring sitting right over here on this semi-rear trailing arm thing. And if we come over here to the IS, it's pretty similar. The spring on the E36 rear end sits up here on this perch on the upper control arm, and the shock, it still has the same mounting points, mounts up top, and then mounts down here. So I'm gonna pop off the coilover on the 318 IS real quick, and then we'll get right back over here, and then I'll show you guys me installing, or trying to install the rear shock on the Ti. All right, so I got one of the shocks out of the 318 IS, and surprisingly, even though this shock was lengthened quite a bit for the IS, it still seems a little bit shorter than the stock shock on the 318 Ti. So this is actually looking pretty promising. Bet. So I'm gonna get going on getting these rear shocks out, and then I guess we'll just try and pop these in. Oh no, this thing ain't budging. Balls. Maybe I disconnect the end link from down here. Oh, it's gonna be such a pain. Oh jeez. All right, so I just had a really just duh moment. So I went online and people were like, okay, yeah, just disconnect the sway bar end link. I was like, okay, cool. So I started unbolting this, and then I tried pulling this out. I was like, wait, this bolt can't pull out in here. There's just not enough room. And I touched underneath. Turns out there's a nut underneath the sway bar end link to release it. So you gotta release that nut in order to let this arm go down low enough to be able to get the spring out. Bet. All right, so it turns out even with the sway bar end link release, there's still not quite enough room. So, gotta get up in here with the pry bar. We're just gonna pry up on this until we can get it out. When in doubt, pry it out. You bitch. Come on. Oh, feel it wants to go. It really wants to go. Come on. Oh, I think I got it. I think a little bit more prying. Yeah. Feels good. And then we just grab the max speeding rod coil. That has a little bit of rust on it, but still works. That's just gonna, like that. So, I believe next step, we're gonna be trying to throw in this puppy chucker. This puppy chucker out there. All right, so here's my plan. I'm gonna kinda slot this up in here. And then, since I can't reach up there, I'm gonna get this jack up underneath to support it so I can bolt it up top. Oh, just like that. Oh yeah. Bolts up just like it's supposed to. Don't want to go too tight. And you may be wondering, why is this stud so much shorter than this stud? Well, when I initially installed them, I thought it was a good idea to cut this flush. I don't know why, but it is what it is. So I'm not gonna mess with the length of the shock right now because it seems like it was already in a fairly good spot. So I'm just gonna try and see how it is with it like this, and then we'll kind of just switch it up as need be, I think. Woo! Oh, forgot about that. Gotta put a sway bar ending back in. Duh. Yes, sir. Alright. It's looking kind of nice so far. I imagine after going through like some travel, this spring will kind of seat itself where it's supposed to be. I think this is supposed to torque probably to something like 57, I'd imagine. We'll call that good. Okay, that's good. So we've confirmed that E36 coilovers definitely do fit on E36 coilovers definitely do fit on the E36 318 Ti. That's awesome. That actually saved me a little bit of money, which is great, because that means this is even more budget. This is the best budget build, bro. Okay, I don't know if I'd go that far, but... Bet. So now I guess it's time to do the passenger side. Let's get it. Oh. Oh. Hey. Hey, look at that. Nice. All right, everything in the rear is all buttoned up. I ended up swapping over the wheels from the IS because these wheels that were on it, these tires are from like 2008 or something. Yeah, look at this, 2009. And you can just see how dry rotted they are. So I figured it's best I throw these on. These are a bit newer tires, they're not dry rotted. And I'll feel a lot more comfortable driving around on these. But now it's time to lower this thing. Car's gonna look a bit goofy just because the fronts aren't done. Probably not gonna do the fronts tonight. I'll probably do the fronts tomorrow. But I think it's time to drop this thing. So it's definitely lower in the rear. It doesn't look like it because the tires are so small in the rear. I think these are like a 185/60 or something like that. I don't know. It's definitely lower, and we've definitely confirmed that E36 coilovers can fit on E30 rear suspension. Well, I'm gonna call it a night. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Alrighty, we're back with day 2. I'm already a bit dirty because I just got done taking the coilovers out of the IS. Thankfully, they came out relatively easy, but I got the old suspension back in, and this thing is sitting a hell of a lot higher than I remember. I have no idea why. Maybe it's just because I have smaller wheels up front than I did stock, but I'm not sure. But look at the rears right now. I didn't take out the camber arms, so I got a hell of a lot of positive camber in the rear. Like, look at that. That's ridiculous. But I only have about like an hour and a half worth of sunshine left, so I'm gonna get cracking on getting these coilovers in on the TI. Probably not gonna talk a whole bunch because I just want to get it done. So yeah, I guess without further ado, let's get these things installed. You know, I always think that that it's not gonna be like that hard of a process, but then it just always ends up being way harder than it needs to be. But it's in there nice and pretty. I can already tell just based on where this is positioned in the wheel well that this thing is going to be just low as dicks in the front. I've got like 20 minutes of daylight left, so I'm probably going to have to call it here, unfortunately. I got a bit of a later start than I wanted to today, so that's kind of unfortunate. But we'll pick this back up tomorrow. And oh, why is that upside down? Whatever. It's the next day. I got the passenger side coilovers on, and the thing's ready to go down on the ground. I ended up switching out the wheels from the front of the IS over there onto this because, like I said, the old tires were all dry rotted. But now it's time to drop this thing and see how low it is. It actually ended up a lot lower up front than I was expecting. Like, that's a pretty healthy chunk of tuck right there. More than, I think that it's actually more than what was on the IS before. The rears, I wish maybe were like a little bit lower. But, I mean, once I put on some bigger wheels on the back, I'm sure it'll actually start to fill out and it'll look pretty nice. But overall, I'm pretty happy. I do need to figure out one thing though. When I lowered the rear end, I noticed that the exhaust was like rattling on something, so I'm gonna have to get the car up real quick and take a look at that. I'm not sure if it's gonna go in this video or not, but I'm going over to Gabe's garage tonight to go weld up the diff because I have the event on Sunday. But I think we're only gonna be driving at that event with coilovers, a welded diff, and then I think I might take the seat out of the IS and swap it in here. I honestly just don't have the time before the event to swap over the tie rods, swap over the engine mounts and trans mounts. So that's gonna have to probably wait till the next event, but I'm gonna check this exhaust out and I'll let you guys know what I find. So it turns out the little piece of heat shielding had broken off of its mounts up front, and it was just rattling on the exhaust. So I just ended up taking it out, but I think we're gonna head over to Gabe's right now and hopefully we can get this diff welded up tonight.
God.
What?
Mom bring it, like, come and drop it off.
My mom's not even home. That's the thing. I mean, yeah, but I don't feel like having him come all the way over here. I'm just gonna do it tomorrow. I'm literally just gonna do all of it tomorrow. I'll get here like early, pull the fucking diff, weld it, RTV it, and then just close it all the way back up like later in the night. Fuck. I forgot the brake clean at my house. And we don't have brake clean.
Honestly, this might be what the...
So, in the next video, we're gonna be doing the diff and be putting the seat inside the 318 Ti. Damn. What a stupid way to end a video. That's just so dumb. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next one.